Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to Dream Career Talk Show. Dream Career Talk Show is about building your dream career, which is much beyond getting a job. Here on this show, we are going to have industry experts coming from various domains who will be sharing their knowledge, their experiences, their challenges, their failures, and their success so that it can help others in their career journey. This show is to help corporate professionals expand their context, get clarity, direction, hope, inspiration, and of course, the right steps to build their dream careers. Now, today's topic is really interesting and very special. How to excel in your career in trade finance. How to crack CDCS examination. What is CDCS all about? How can CDCS help in the career growth? Our today's guest is Isaac Tudu. He's an ex-banker with India's largest banks, that is ICICI Bank and State Bank of India, having more than 25 years of banking experience in trade finance and credit. Isaac today is the owner of Tudu Financial Services, a consultancy firm engaged in providing trade finance services to SMEs. He also helps bankers to complete CDCS examination by mentoring them through CDCS exam preparation course. He is a credit and trade finance expert with ICC certifications like CDCS, CSDG, and CITF. He's also having PGDBA in finance, diploma in international banking and finance, project finance certificate, certificate in trade finance, certificate in SME finance, certificate in risk management, and CAIIB from IIBF. And there is more to his list. So let's welcome Isaac. So, Isaac, welcome to Dream Career Talk Show.
Thank you so much, Fatah Khan. I am really privileged. I am humbled to be part of this wonderful talk show. Thank you so much for inviting me for this talk show.
Welcome. And before we talk about CDCS, what is it? Before we talk about trade finance, let's first understand about your journey. Like, how did you get into this? And we see that you have a lot of certifications that you have done. You see, you come with some amazing experience with some of the top banks like ICCI, ICICI, SBI, and all of this. So, how did you get started into this journey? Was it by chance, by choice, and what how was this journey all?
Yeah, I can just go back to my old days when I started my career. Basically, I belong to Jharkhand, and within Jharkhand, one small town is there, that is Dumka. So after graduation, usually there are no opportunities there, so everybody will chase for the government job. So I was also trying government job, and people were very crazy about civil service and all those things. So initial days after graduation, yes, my goal was to get into civil service. So as usual, like every participant, every candidate, I also tried 2 3 times, cleared the mains also, but didn't get finally. So in between, what happened that years were passing out and pressure was there, so I started giving banking related all the jobs also, whatever at that time it was ISBP, so they used to conduct various banking related job offer. So I started giving all the banking related job. So initially I got selected as a PO in OBC, Oriental Bank of Commerce. So when I joined that bank, within a probation period only, I got selected in SBI as a PO, probationary officer. So I switched over from OBC to SBI. So 95, I started my career with the State Bank of India in Gujarat, Ahmedabad. So I continued there for 15 years, mostly in the credit and trade finance related issue. Last time I was heading the big corporate branch, SME intensive branch at Surat. So after completion of 15 years, I decided to explore my other world within the banking domain. So I left SBI and I joined ICICI Bank in 2010. So I worked there for almost 10 years. So 2019, when I was heading North and West Gujarat commercial banking team RHS at Ahmedabad. At that time, I left that banking job also because I thought almost 25 years have gone. Now time has come to share my knowledge with all the SMEs, corporates, and therefore I thought that 2019 I completely left my banking job. I started my own small firm where I do help SMEs related to trade finance, and gradually I started helping the bankers also to compete one of the competitive exam, that is CDCS exam, because a lot of queries I used to receive in LinkedIn or you can say Facebook about various questions related to CDCS exam. Then I thought that while helping them, the idea came that why can't I give them a structured service? So I started my CDCS exam preparation course for them. For SMEs, basically, I help them to avail the trade finance. I help them. I conduct a small seminar, or I educate them related to trade finance, related every matter related to banks. So this is brief about my journey.
Yeah, very inspiring journey, and thank you for being transparent here and talking about your IAS attempt as well, and then you not being able to make up, and then you getting into banking, finance, and all of that. Because I think there is a good message there. Like a lot of people get started with something, and when they fail, right, they feel that is the end, right? They can't really attempt new things, but you have chosen the other part, banking, finance, and today you are very successful in that, doing something on your own entrepreneurship journey. Now when you said 2019, this is the year when COVID also struck, so a lot of people were saving jobs and you left your job to do something really new. How was this? Like, how did you feel, and what were the inputs coming from outsiders at that time?
So it was a very tough decision. Almost 25 years I had completed. Actually, my ultimate dream is to open one school at my hometown, that is at Dumka. So for that we were planning. My wife is also there in the bank, so we were deciding how to go about that and all those things. So it has to be very long term planning. So we decided that 2023 we will open the school, and for that reason we were planning how to do all the finance related issues. I was in the bank, so whether I'll be able to manage from here and Gujarat, because we are based at Gujarat. So those things were going on. So I thought that no, I need to venture into, you can say that now you should not be there in the job 9 to 5 and doing everything, and you will not be able to uh, change yourself. So I decided to quit the job and thought that definitely whatever I have learned during my experience of 25 years in banking, SBI and ICICI Bank, I may be able to give value to the society. So that process was very interesting and exciting for me. So I started enjoying that no, I must help the people, whoever will come to me or whoever wants my services, because I had seen a lot of challenges as far as MSMEs are concerned. A lot of gaps were there. So I thought that as a banker I can fulfill their needs, because whenever they will come to the branch, they will ask so many questions, they will here and there, they will not be able to know the things. So how to do the transaction, what are the things they need to do? So I thought that I can give value to them. So for that reason, and being because I wanted to start my journey for that purpose, that is school to be opened. So still I am on the same journey. So basically that thought process basically kicked me that you quit the job and you start. But it was very tough time, because it was a very comfortable job. It well set, salary was there, comfortable job was there, everything was known to me, and quitting that job was really a very tough decision. And it took me roughly around, you can say, almost 6 months time to put the papers. Okay, so very difficult time. But after quitting the job also, I did not initially decide that what I am supposed to do immediately. But later on, things were falling whatever I had planned accordingly. But it was not a very rosy picture. Things were totally different. People were known to me, but not as a professional or consultant or expert. They were known to me. They were aware that I was a banker. Okay, so they used to talk to me as if that I am still a banker. I was still a banker, so I was not getting that much of business initially. So it was a tough time initially, but gradually during this COVID also. When COVID hit, and all the we know that we all suffered due to that, and there was a vacuum created for few months. You can say that I believe that it was roughly around July, August onwards. I started again getting the time, because that was the period I thought that physically it is not possible, but it took me time. That is also a fact, that to realize that don't get whatever, if you are not able to go and meet the client, not to worry. This platform is available, that is social media. So gradually I
Right.
started learning, and that way I think have started going in the right direction. I am really very comfortable position, that much I can say.
Yeah. And how do you feel when today, I know you have a lot of students, you have been helping students in the sense the professionals, the bankers in terms of cracking the examination and then helping in their businesses on the trade finance. How does it feel when you are able to help so many people today?
So two things are there. When I help SMEs client, their perspective will be different. Whenever somebody calls me and we go for one-to-one call, they will share the problem with me, and I will try to solve. So basically, whether I get the fee or not, that is secondary thing. But first, my intention usually would be that to help that person. And whenever that person is very small, a new exporter or importer, and if I give value to that person, really it gives me different type of satisfaction that cannot be compared. That okay, somebody is now aware about the transaction, and he can do Excel, and he will say thank you so much, he will give me the message and all that. That's the basically, you can say, I that's I earn that. Okay, so uh, that part is separate. And when I do provide services to corporates, there it usually first thing basically satisfaction level. Monetary part is basically secondary one. When I look to the entire team, they are looking at me, and I am sharing the knowledge related to trade finance to them. So maybe they are working for the last, you can say, 5 to 8 years, 10 years time, but a lot of gaps I would observe, and I will try to fill up those gaps. So basically that gives me a lot of satisfaction that now people are well acute, whatever needs to be done they will be doing in future. As far as my CDCS preparation course is there, so as I told you that initially it was not in a very structured form. I used to help all the bankers, whoever used to contact me, I used to give reply and everything. So this year June, I decided that let me help in a very structured manner. So I started this program from July 2021. So first
Mm.
time one girl enrolled, then I thought that okay, let me first prepare my course. So I created the course, raw course, you can say that, and I tried to understand each and everything as a participant. So whatever knowledge
Right.
was there, that is different one. But definitely when I started the course, I realized that I need to be there in their shoes. Okay, so I became a participant for myself. Let me understand the thing. So July batch, September batch, and it gives me tremendous, you can say, happiness that two of my participants, they went for this exam in October 14th and 18th, and they got this certificate. So now I'm
Great.
really happy for them. Yeah. So that is how. So
Congratulations. And we will get into the exam details also, like what is CDCS and all about that. But before we get into that, let's understand more of trade finance. What actually is trade finance, right? And what are the different methods like people can get into trade finance and all about it?
So, in a very simple and layman form, if I would say that there are two words involved in that: trade and finance. Okay. Trade, you can say that entire trade. So you can say domestic trade as well as export import trade, international, or we call it cross border trade. Okay. And finance is involved. So finance for that trade, that is, you can say, for layman. So what is the finance? Obviously, as an exporter, what I need to do, basically I need to manufacture the goods. Okay, I have got the export order, and I need to first manufacture the goods, or I have to procure the goods from somewhere so that I can export the goods. For that I need funds. Okay, I have got one excellent order for $50,000. I am earning good amount of profit in that, but I do not have funds. So what I would do, basically I will approach the bank that, since this is my order, I want to avail facility against that order. So usually bank would assess based on their own assessment system, and they would give me. So you can say that trade finance is related to finance for trade, and that is the cycle. We call it internally working capital cycle. Okay, so where cash would be needed for procuring of the raw material or manufacturing that into you can say that finished goods. After selling, immediately I won't be able to get the payment. So that money will be blocked in receivables, or you can say bills, export bills. So export bill, it will be outstanding. Maybe I have sold the goods 30 days, 90 days credit. So up to 90 days, I need to wait to payment to come. So my cycle will get increased if I give this type of credit. So when money will be received by me only after 90 days. So entire cycle, usually we call it working capital cycle, cash to cash, starting from procuring the raw material, uh, SIP, we call it stock in process, then finished goods converting into receivables, or you can say bills, then realization of bills. So how much time money was blocked, based on that my requirement will be there. And this is the way usually bank also assess the working capital need of the any of the exporter. So trade finance basically is two type of, basically pre-shipment and post-shipment. Okay, so pre-shipment means prior to shipment, whatever fund is needed is basically called pre-shipment. Post-shipment, once goods have been shipped, after that whatever funding is needed, that is basically post-shipment. So pre-shipment, for procurement raw material, my labor expenses, my power expenses, everything will be there till the time goods are manufactured. Finance up for that person is called pre-shipment. Once goods have been shipped and export bills have been submitted to the bank, then bank would go for post shipment. Now money has that entire stocks have been converted into bill. So goods are not there in India, it has been shipped. Now bill is there, and those bill, against that bill, whatever funding is given by the bank, basically it will be called post shipment. So pre shipment and post shipment, usually all the export credits are basically will be available to the exporter at a very competitive pricing as per RBI guidelines. So anybody who has got the export order can go to the bank and request for trade finance. That will be in the form of various component is there, like pre-shipment. Within that, EPC facilities is there in rupee, export packing credit in rupees, or somebody would like to avail in foreign currency, that is packing credit in foreign currency, PCFC we call it. So those things are basically internal thing, simple for layman purpose. Everything, whatever funding is needed for export order to execute the order, is basically trade finance. And a lot of products are there within that. It will be fund based, non fund based, so many things are there. So those all are basically part of trade finance, which usually exporter would require from the bank to support the entire export transaction.
Hmm. And how can like trade finance, understanding more of it and all of this help in terms of benefiting any business?
Yeah, because capital is a very costly affair for any promoter. Okay, so it will be very you can say rare commodity. So uh, if I deploy my capital, it will be very costly for myself. And small, you can say SMEs, or you can say MSME also, they do not have much capital. Okay, so they need basically working capital for you can say execute the orders or scale up of their sales, because with own fund only, very difficult and very challenging. Therefore they need support in the form of trade finance by banks or FIs, whoever is there. So basically this will help to increase their sales volume, and that will lead to the increase in the profit, and that will lead to the increase in the business. So if exporter avails trade finance from the bank, definitely he can leverage his capital in a very better manner, and it will be really helpful for the company. So that's why usually I tell all the customers that if you have got the order, you have got the background, so let us go and avail the trade finance from the bank, because government also, bank also supports all the exporter, because we earn foreign currency for the bank, for the country, which is very precious. So lot of incentives are there. Why not to avail those incentives? If you deploy your capital and if you work within that range, so it will be very limited, you cannot go beyond. So if you want to increase your sales level, or and you want to totally explode, that in that case you can say that bank help in the form of trade finance will be needed. So that's why it is very critical.
And trade finance, when we talk about this, it's only for international trading, or somebody who does a domestic trading can also avail this trade finance.
Yeah, you can say wording, you can say that mostly it has been used for the cross border transaction, that is export import. So I talked about export like that. You can say that import also will fall under trade finance, where if I'm importing, I am, and those goods are not available in India, I find that competitive pricing is available abroad, so I can approach the bank and get the uh, limit, or you can say that loan, in terms of documentary credit, whatever things is needed. Those are also part of trade finance. So export finance and this import finance both will fall under trade finance. As far as domestic transaction is concerned, yes, you can say that trade finance is available for that also, but usually that is in normal sense, or you can say layman language, usually that will be treated as a normal working capital finance. Those things are also available with the bank, but for domestic transactions, finance is available, and that working capital finance, whatever a customer wants, yes, it can be classified in domestic as well as foreign. Also, trade finance can be availed for the domestic also, but whatever concessions has been provided by the government or bank for the exporter, those things will not be available here. It will be totally purely bank's call how to assess the customer, and they would charge you as per their existing rating method, and we need to accordingly abide by that. So slightly difference when you go for export finance, trade finance in the form of export. At that time, usually you will get much better rate, and domestic funding or domestic working capital would have some you can say that more pricing we need to give as far as finance is concerned.
And if someone has a company and wants to like do some export, right? How do
Mhm.
they approach the bank for trade finance?
So if two things are there, whether this company is a very new one or already they have got the vintage. So banks usually has got this mindset that they would prefer to start banking relationship, or you can say they would lend or give the trade finance. Majority time they would request that whether you have got the previous year's balance sheet or not. That means they would like to have that some vintage has to be there. If that person has got export track record, it would be much easier for that person to get the trade finance. But when a person is a new and recently he has ventured into export business, so maybe he will not have the background, then in that case he would definitely have to convince the bank that though I have not got the background in the form of balance sheet, but I am the right person, and I am capable enough to handle the transaction, or I can do the business, and your money will be safe. Basically, whenever bank would lend, what will happen, that first thing they would like to ensure that how his money will be repaid by the customer, how much safety is there. So they would rate the customer and they would arrive rating. Okay, so based on that rating, they will say that this is a riskier proposal or this is a very uh, best proposal. So when they find that rating is not as per their standard, they would simply deny that. And if rating falls in between, they would definitely lend, but maybe pricing will be bit higher side, more risk, more pricing. They would just uh, give the customer loan, but with higher pricing. If that rating will be based on the background of the company, financial of the company, collaterals available to the bank, and what is the standing of the promoter. So what is the background of the promoter? So all those things bank would assess while rating the company. If as per whatever internal guidelines are there, and they are able to satisfy, customer is able to satisfy banks in that respect, definitely bank would be happy to onboard them. That means giving the loan. For new customer, initial teething problem will be there, because bank would definitely go into deep to understand whether this person who has got fresh order with no background will be able to do the business or not. That in that case, we need to convince the bank with our discussion, body language, everything, what are our plan, how we want to grow, and how we succeed in this. And if bank is convinced about that, our plan, our execution and team, whoever is involved in our group, so they will definitely would like to onboard those clients also. But for new entrants, slightly challenge will be there. That is also a fact. Bank usually immediately would not lend to those who has not got the background or vintage in the same field of activity. So
Mm.
this is the reality.
Right. So that's from the company perspective. Now, if somebody has to learn trade finance, like who typically needs to learn trade finance? Like, is it only bankers, or is it somebody who is working in companies like where import export happen? Like, who are these typical candidates who, for whom trade finance would help in careers?
So both way, bankers obviously they have to do the international banking. They would have the entire department. If somebody wants, if somebody has got the interest as far as international banking is concerned, definitely those person will go for this. So that is part of that. And a professional who are with the company or consultant who want to know knowledge about trade finance and give value to the entire exporter or importer, those people also should go and learn each and every aspect of trade finance. It is a very huge topics. Okay, so a lot of things to be learned, so not possible that everything somebody may be able to, but if it is related to banking, maybe few things they can go and learn. With a lot of certification is there, a lot of sites are there who provide very good certification course, so people can enroll and understand, learn, and basically it will be both way practical, and they have to interact and they have to actually deal with the transaction, then only that real learning will be there. If they are not the banker definitely would learn within the organization also. Whenever they will do whatever foreign exchange transaction within the organization, they'll be able to understand theory part and practical part. For professional, if they want to grow, because it is very interesting, and it will never this area is very interesting, and every day you need to be very updated, and I find it very exciting. Frankly speaking, for me, trade finance is a I can think about this trade finance morning till late night or throughout the day. No
I'm
issue.
sure you can do that. You have been there for 25 years, and then
Yeah,
today
yeah.
you are teaching that as a part of your passion. So yeah, can understand
So
it.
any professional, if they really want to go for trade finance, should definitely, I would recommend that should join one or two courses to start with, and start learning. Good books are there. A lot of free materials are available on internet also, and a lot of you can say LinkedIn also. A lot of groups are there where discussion happens. There they can participate, learn, and those things, whatever doubts are there, can be clarified. So. Uh, I would definitely suggest, if you are really interested in export or import, you should go for this domain and find out your niche within the overall trade finance, because I told that it is a very vast area. So you need to find out whether you want to uh, act or you want to help the customers or SMEs who basically deals with the bank, or they are actually you want to help them in export. So export means you need to understand the whatever export related requirements are there, all the licensing and custom clearance and how to ship the goods. All those things is a totally different area where people need professional who can support them, help them. After that, definitely after shipment, how to handle the transaction with the bank, how to report to RBI and compliance part, because export related all these issue will require a lot of government regulation. So we need to follow all the government regulations. So this is the area where somebody can come and understand and have the expertise and help the SEBs, because they are the businessmen. So they don't know what to do, how to, they know how to do the business. So rest of the thing basically professional can help them to do how the transaction should be done. So there definitely a lot of scope is there as far as trade finance is concerned.
Hmm. So one side you are helping these MSMEs in terms of on the trade finance. The other side you also like do a lot of work around CDCS, right? Helping students or the professionals to crack this examination. So what is CDCS and why should somebody like study or crack this exam?
Okay. So basically, CDCS, if you say what is the acronym, suggests that Certificate for Documentary Credit Specialist. Okay, so CDCS exam. So this exam is basically conducted by LIBF, London Institute of Banking and Finance, and this is level 4 exam. This certification is related to documentary credit. Just I will brief you what is documentary credit, because if you are an exporter and one importer is there, so two things will be there while negotiating the terms and condition. Two things you will discuss, that first will be the terms of delivery, how the goods will be delivered to importer. So that will be covered by incoterms. Another thing, terms of payment, how this importer how this exporter will receive the export payment. So exporter will be afraid whether he'll be able to get the money or not, because usually these days all the international trade will happen through net. So maybe importer and exporter, they have not met physically. So definitely exporter would like to ensure that his payment is assured. So first option, exporter would say that I need advance money. Okay, means this is the order for 10,000, you remit the fund. Once fund is received by exporters bank and he is confirmed that okay, against that order fund has been received, he will ship the goods. So that is the best thing exporter can do. But that will not be, that will be very riskier for the importer, because remitting the first upfront $10,000 without even ensuring that goods have been shipped or not, in future whether exporter will ship the goods or not, and what quality, what standard, so many doubts will be there. So what, that the importer would not agree for that. So first comes this advance payment is gone. So next best option will be available for the exporter would be to go for documentary credit. We call it in a very you can say common language, letters of credit, that is LC. So both would agree that okay, this transaction, these payment terms, this export order, we will do transaction under LC. In that case, what will happen, that importer will request the bank, his bank, and say that you issue one LC in favor of the exporter. So now bank's role will come. So based on the request of the importer, that issuing bank will undertake one later, you can say in 11, they will give the undertaking to the exporter that if exporter presents the entire set of documents as per the LC terms, bank will pay him. Simple. So exporters is now assured that once they ship the goods, they will have to just present the documents to the bank and they will get the payment. Now the risk has been shifted from the importer to the bank. So
Right.
exporter would definitely will be more comfortable taking the risk on the bank rather than the importer. So exporter is happy that okay, fine, I'm willing to do this transaction under LC because once I submit a documents as per terms, I will get the money. And importer also is happy because he has to pay the money to the exporter through his bank only when goods have been shipped and documents have been received by his bank. So purpose is solved. That's why this documentary credit or LC is very popular. And next two is basically collection basis where goods will be sent by the exporter to the importer and documents will be routed through the bank. In that case, risk will be there on the importer only. If importer fails to pay as per the terms and conditions sales contract, exporter will cannot do anything. He cannot demand the money from the bank because this transaction was not done under LC. This was done under on collection basis. So the collection is basically third option, and last option, which is very riskier for the exporter. Basically, it is very good for the importer. Is basically open account basis. In that, exporter will send the goods, exporter will submit, or he will also send the documents to the importer. Now everything is gone for the exporter, but they have not received the payment. So this will be the most riskiest for the exporter, and as per the agreed term, importer will make the payment as per the sales contract. So these are the five things, usually four things within the export, or you can say terms of payment. So second one, that is documentary credit, which we call it LC, is very popular for the exporter when they go for the new customers. So they would require the LC. So this certification, CDCS, is basically related to that. So for that, this entire LC is basically governed by ICC, that is International Chamber of Commerce, has published one publication, that is UCP 600, under which this LC is governed, and this certification is related to LC transaction. So when you go for CDCS certification, you will have in-depth knowledge about, you can say, LC, what is LC, what is the types, what are the types of LC. You will have the very complex issues resolvent. I mean, whatever you will learn, your knowledge, your everything, you will be able to find out the structure way of LC. So basically, you can say that this certificate is a globally recognized certificate conducted by LIBF, which is recognized by ICC also. And this ICC only has published UCP 600, under which LC is governed. So a lot of recognition is there. While completing this certificate, you can say that you will become a master of documentary credit, and therefore a lot of people or bankers or non-bankers also, they go for this certification because this will definitely help them, this helps them to excel in their career and promotion prospects, apart from getting the knowledge, deep understanding about documentary credit. So this is brief about CDCS.
Interesting. And first of all, you simplified it about the finance trading, right? The kind of trade finance that can be done, and especially the LC part. I think it's very beneficial when people understand this. And the people who are doing import export, I think one of the biggest challenge we keep hearing is I have sent the goods but not received the amount. All of this, I think, understanding LC would definitely be beneficial to them. And you
True.
said it's CDCS is for bankers and also for non-bankers. How does it benefit non-bankers here? Like somebody who is a non-banker, why should they write CDCS exam?
So basically, in my team, a lot of non-bankers are also there. Okay, so I can give their example only. Usually I interact with all of them. Why do you want to go for the CDC certification? So most of them are basically with corporate clients, where they deal with the bank, import export business. Okay, so they are already into export import business, and while handling the company's transaction, they have to interact with the bank related to documentary credit. So maybe that person is looking after export business there. Okay. And he also, that company also deals in the area of letters of credit, that is LC. So this person is involved to prepare the documents as per the LC. So unless he's aware how to prepare the documents, how bank will say that documents are complying, that means as per terms and conditions of the LC. So that knowledge is very important. Reading the entire terms and condition based on ICC publication UCP 600. One more thing is there, ISBP 745, whether documents have been prepared properly or not, so that banks should not raise any discrepancies in the document and they should pay me. So this is the first goal that company would like to have, that whenever I present a documents to the bank, I should be immediately paid. That is the first intention. And for that, we need to present the documents as per the terms and condition of the LC. To prepare the documents, you need to have a thorough knowledge about the entire UCP 600, and one more publication is there, that is ISBP 745. With that knowledge, you can prepare the documents as per the LC terms and ensure that your payment is paid as early as possible. So in case documents are not as per the terms and condition of the LC, so usually what will happen, that bank who has issued that LC will approach the importer and say that these are the 5 discrepancies we have observed, will you waive those discrepancies or not? So this situation is very tough for the exporter, because now his payment is totally dependent on the this importers applicants okay on the discrepancies. What if that importer says, no, I am not okay with the discrepancies? In that case, that bank will refuse the payment. So to avoid that type of thing, that discrepancies should not be there in the documents, whoever is preparing the documents for the bank under LC should be well aware what type of documents needs to be prepared under various terms and conditions. So therefore, companies also allow or encourage their employee to learn about documentary credit, and CDCS is one of the certificate where they will learn each and everything, how to prepare the documents, what are the things needs to be checked prior submission, lot of things related to LC. So this will be a very value for the company. So in my group, a lot of non-bankers are there who are quite satisfied. Now they are very happy that, okay, fine, I'm able to give more contribution for my company. So that is all about CDCS exam.
Okay, so this can help the non this one as well. So how can somebody excel in their career? Like one is CDCS exam. Any other tips you have for people who want to enter into into trade finance or working in trade finance? How can they excel in their career?
Yeah. So if somebody wants to excel in trade finance, first thing, definitely I would advise to learn from basic. Okay. So they can start with a lot of courses are available. As far as India is concerned, it is conducted by Indian Institute of Banking and Finance, IIBF. They have a lot of courses, certification course related to export, related to LC, related to foreign exchange, FEMA guideline, everything. So many certifications are there. So start with any certificate course which you will be able to compete within 3 months time or 6 month time. They will, I believe, half yearly basis they usually conduct this examination. So that will be good starting point as far as knowledge related to trade finance is concerned. When you are familiar with the basic certification and you can say basic knowledge about trade finance, you can go for the international degree or certification, like uh, this LIBF only conducts a lot of other course also, like CITF. Okay, that is a level 3 program where you will have overall entire gamut of trade finance will be captured. Whatever I talk, basically advance payment, LC collection, you can say open account, bank guarantee, LC, everything will be covered there. So that will be a good starting point. You can go for the CITF. You, if you want to have a specialization in one product, that is documentary credit, you can go for CDCS. If you want to go for specialization in bank guarantee, CSDG. Another certification course is there conducted by the LIBF only. So what I believe that if somebody really wants to go and understand trade finance, they definitely have to take out some time to learn from all these certification course, whatever is available. So these days, online, everything is online. I would definitely suggest to read all the materials, whatever is available, to have a first-hand experience, whatever learning is needed for trade finance. Accordingly, later on, you can position yourself whether you want to go for LC or you want to go for bank guarantee, and accordingly, you can plan, or you can find your niche within overall trade finance. What exactly you want, how you want to excel your career, which area you want to grow. So once you are there in the trade finance domain, then everything will be open and you will be able to find out exactly where is the opportunity and what type of certification will be needed, what type of future is available for that. So start with any of the certification course with IIBF, Indian Institute of Banking and Finance. Then you can go for any certification course conducted by LIBF, and a lot of other uh, service or course providers are also there. They are also good at par, you can say, but I prefer that you should go with LIBF certification.
Hmm. And you have been talking about a lot of certifications here and also about information that is available on the internet, right? So one challenge with information available on internet is information is now overloaded. How can
True.
somebody like filter and see what is the right information or what is the right way for people if they want to build career or if they want to accelerate their career growth in this particular field?
So the best way is not to totally dependent on the net. A lot of obviously materials are available, whether those are authenticated or not, that is also a question mark. But definitely when you go for the certification course, like conducted by IIBF, whatever they provide, you can say that all those things are reliable, and very step by step procedure will be available to learn and understand the transaction or whatever we want to learn related to trade finance. So a lot of topics have been covered. I believe that each and everything related to trade finance, mostly I can say that it would be more than 10 or 15 courses will be available. Those are really very precious for learner, beginner. So after completing that, therefore, I was suggesting that go for any of the LIBF course. So they also conduct, and these courses are basically somehow you can say globally accepted course. So when you will go for these course, definitely company and within the organization there will be much more recognition. And so internet means whatever is available through the reliable, you can say, like IIBF or LIBF, those things
Mm.
we need to go for that, not that searching YouTube and whatever Google
Right.
and whatever materials are available. You can
They can get
you can do
started
that.
from there, right? But
Yeah,
now,
but
one thing, Isaac, is you have been into coaching for about 2 years now, and you have been coaching a lot of professionals on this, right? So, why do you need somebody needs to go for a coach or mentor in terms of if they have to actually crack this exam or even like excel in career in trade finance?
yeah, very good question. So basically, like I do provide helping hand to the bankers, whoever is really or non-professional who is really willing for CDCS exam. So I would talk about that. So thing is that it is not that standalone basis you will not be able to clear. That is, I never claim that. Okay, so still, lot of bankers are there who can definitely do study and crack this exam. But while preparing alone, reading the materials alone, and going for the exam will definitely take longer time. Okay. So when you enroll yourself with any of the course, so what they do basically, what I provide basically a clear cut roadmap. What exactly exam wants? What is the expectation of LIBA? I take that person to that level. Obviously everything has to be done by that person only who is really interested for CDCS exam, but while mentoring I ensure that whatever time gap is there, I try to shorten that time. Okay, so clear cut roadmap will be there. You will never feel alone because there will be group, so you will keep on discussing all those things. Whenever you find any challenges, somebody will be there to help you out to resolve all the doubts, gaps, clear. So this will definitely accelerate your journey to achieve CDCS certificate. I always say to all the participants that totally up to you how you best can use entire resources. If you are really committed, then definitely you will get it. It is not that I am there, then only you will be able to clear. No, that is, I never claim that. But only
Right.
thing that I will help you to reduce the time. Simple.
Right. Definitely. Like I'm sure like the mentors are basically there to fast track the journey, right? And as you rightly said, pick up the right things and show them like what to do rather than they picking up everything, right? And then just struggling in the journey. And also you mentioned about the community, right? There are people within your community who are also trying to crack the exam, who are also learning trade finance. So people being in that same community will definitely like inspire and motivate each other and support them towards this journey. And so that's really good. And typically like one is the time, right? And if they write an exam, like how much is this exam costing, and uh, what is the criteria for this examination?
Okay. So if I tell you, you will be, I mean, there is no criteria for this exam. That is a fact. So
Hmm.
anybody pays the fee, he'll be entitled to take this exam. So no
Hmm.
criteria. Okay, but definitely LIBF expects that you should have at least 3 years experience in the same area of field. Okay, so that is related to documentary credit or LC. But even if somebody is not has is having no background about the documentary credit, he can definitely go for this. He has to pay registration fees. As on date, as per official site, it is GBP 595. For all of us in India, it is on higher side. If we convert this amount into rupee, it would be roughly around 60-61,000.
Hmm.
And it the once you enroll for that LIBF registration, that will be valid for 12 months time, and within that you will be given one free chance to take the exam. And we need to crack that exam within that free chance, so that we should not go for the second chance second time. Because if we have to go for the second attempt again, we need to pay GBP 350. That means roughly around 35 to 36,000 once again. So as
Hmm.
you could see that it is on slightly higher side. Okay, so usually it is advisable to all the participants, first you prepare yourself for the final exam. Don't get enrolled directly. Then once you are already prepared to take the exam, once you read and you understand the entire concept of CDCS, then you pay the fee, get enrolled yourself, book the slot and take the exam. That is the way usually I advise to every participant, not to directly enroll for the LIBF unless you understand the entire gamut of or syllabus of CDCS exam, how much time you need to give, because all will be professional working in different banks or companies. Very difficult to get the time. And uh, we need to give some time every day for reading the books and materials, because it will be long journey. 300 hours is expected from the participant to devote for this exam. Maybe that 300 could be not the applicable for every person, but definitely depend on the background of that person. Maybe somebody can be able to click or crack this exam within 4 months time. Some may take 7 months, 8 months time also. So basically, once you pay the fee GBP 595, you will get the registration. You will be given login ID, password. You will have to access. If you want to take the exam, then you need to book the seat. And centers are across India. Most of the city will have the center. You just have to find out in your location which is the center. You just go and block the day, whatever day time slot will be there. You block that, and on that particular day, we need to go there and appear for the exam. Exam will be totally online basis. Result will be given most of the time, not instantly, but within 10-15 minutes you will get the result and everything. So that is how online system. and all the study materials are basically in soft copy only these days post pandemic. Now you can book the exam throughout the year, so it is not that month. Earlier it used to be half yearly basis. Now candidate can book this exam anytime whenever he feels so that he is confident to take the exam. He can enroll for LIBF throughout the year. He can take the exam throughout the year, so it is totally
Wow.
open.
Great.
Yeah.
I think this is really good in terms of understanding the criteria, understanding like what to do if they have to crack the exam. And I think we have had a great conversation, right? So, Isaac, you have shared details about trade finance. You have shared detail about CDCS, right, and the benefits of LC, the kind of tips to crack the examination. I think this has been really great here, whatever knowledge you have shared. And for people who want to know more, learn more about, say, trade finance or also about cracking the CDCS exam, then Isaac is the person to go. He's already helping a lot of professionals to crack that exam and also to grow in their careers. Now, Isaac, before we complete this episode, do you want to share anything with the audience?
Yeah, since being a person of trade finance, I have I want to say to all the, you can say, SMEs especially or MSMEs, that if you are into export business, then perfectly fine. If you have not yet explored export, then go for that. India needs you. Okay, India needs export business post pandemic. I in my opinion, this could be one of the thing which can definitely help all of us when you do the export. Okay, and while doing the export, getting the business, please have your due diligence also. As a banker, I would suggest over the net you will book the order, but please have your due diligence on the importer. Okay, so a lot of things happen when we don't do the due diligence. So have the due diligence and go for the export business. This is for SMEs, MSMEs, because they'll be very happy that they have got the export order and they will be excited to execute the order. But please understand that your money is at risk. So we need to have a due diligence. Okay, and based on your comfort, you can decide whether you have to get the payment advance basis or LC or collection or open account, whatever things you need decide. Okay, so never ignore the KYC part of your importer, number one. And for professional bankers or non-bankers, I would say that CDCS is one of the very prestigious certification recognized by ICC also in the area of documentary credit. If you want to have authority in documentary credit, go for this certification, but only when you are 100% committed for that. That will boost your career or promotion prospects like anything, because it is a globally recognized certificate. It is not a country specific, and lifelong that learning and knowledge will be there, that will help you in your organization and wherever you are, and in future career also. This certificate will definitely help you. So this is my two messages for both the community.
Yeah, that's a great message, and especially when you spoke about the SMEs and MSMEs, I think this is worth lakhs or even crores for some people, because due diligence is very important, and I think that's where people need to understand that rather than jumping to save some money, go to the experts, understand trade finance, right? And people who are in the banking segment or people who are in the corporates, do this certification not just because you want to crack the certification, but also to learn all that Isaac has been talking about, right? And yes, definitely, Isaac is also available on LinkedIn. He's active on LinkedIn. You can reach out to him on LinkedIn. You can subscribe to his YouTube channel where he shares a lot of knowledge about trade finance and also about CDCS examination. So thank you, Isaac, for being here and sharing your immense knowledge and adding value to our audience today.
Thank you so much, Fatah Khan, for giving me this opportunity to share my experience. A lot of things I was not prepared that this type of question would come just instantly. I mean, I have told whatever I had to share, but really I am happy that I was part of this conversation, and really I felt very, you can say that, satisfied. And thank you for this opportunity. And I just want to say all the best to each and every participant wherever you are. If you are watching this video later on also, all the best to you. Go for trade finance, whether certification or knowledge part, that is very important for all of us. And Fatah Khan, thank you so much for your own whatever endeavor you are doing. A lot of good things you are doing. Yes, you have started this talk show, and you call all the specialists, and a lot of value addition to all the society members you are providing. Thank you so much for that. Please continue to do so, and I wish all the best to you also. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isaac, and thanks everyone for watching us live, especially Badri, Narayana, and there are few others who have been sharing their comments, and also appreciated whatever Isaac has been sharing here. Thank you for people who are watching us live, and thank you for people who are going to watch us later on the recording. And I'm sure you will love this conversation from Isaac, and you can reach out to him on LinkedIn, and as I said, through YouTube channel, you can subscribe and learn through him as well. So thank you for watching us. And yes, stay blessed. Have a great night. Thank you and bye bye.
Thank you so much. Thanks